Would everyone stand with us, please? And we're going to have a prayer and a pledge of allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we thank you today that you allow us to come together, Lord, to handle the county business, and we just want to lift it up this morning, all your blessings to our county, Lord, to our country. Pray you'll guide us as we make the decisions and be with all our first responders today, Lord, and keep them safe, whatever they may be doing today. All these things we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everyone to Commissioner's Court. This is a meeting we would normally hold on a Monday, but because we have a county holiday on Monday, we opted to move our meeting back to Friday. So thank you everyone for being here for whatever reason you may be here. We're going to begin just reading into the record the fact that today is the 7th of October 2022. It's just after 9 a.m. and this is our first regular meeting of the month for the Commissioner's Court. Item number 1 is a public comment time and or requests for information. We've got another one here. Thank you. A request for information on non-agenda items. So if there's something that you want to address the court on that's not listed out as one of our agenda items, this is your opportunity to discuss that. So I've got a couple of folks that have requested to speak. One looks like it's regarding one of the agenda items. Deborah Mears is here to discuss a project of the Historical Talco Museum. Ms. Mears, would you like to come up to the... And the reason we have this microphone up here is not so much so that everybody in here can hear, but for those that will listen later on our YouTube channel. Flip that switch and see if it is working, would you, Barbara? Make sure that that thing is on. There you go.
Thank you.
And you can bend that down however you need.
Yeah, probably going to have to be bended down a little bit further. I'm glad I get to speak first because I think these other kids would be a hard act to follow. So,
yes, ma'am.
I'm here to kind of discuss a little bit about the APR funds or ARP funds that are available for the Titus County, and I'm representing the Historical Museum in Talco, and it was funded and started with volunteers, and people paid $10 memberships in the beginning to start it in 1999 and 2000, and it was to the mission was to preserve the historical artifacts within the county that are related to the oil fields here and to the school systems in Titus County, and also other important things that have happened in the beginning of our county. And so the Talco City Council, I met with them recently and kind of talked to them about our plans to try to secure the building a little bit more where we're housed within the city hall. And they, of course, do not have any funds there. I mean, they've used most of their funds for the city. And so that's the reason I'm here, to see if possibly that y'all could participate with that endeavor. The original building was built in 1937, and that we use 5 rooms within that city hall. And some of those rooms have windows to the north and to the south, and they are not secured from the weather. They have been boarded up over the years with plyboard and has leaked and ruined some of the artifacts. So that is our goal, is to try to secure the building from the elements and to make it more stable for housing important things that represent our county and our city of Talco. The city has been very good to allow us to stay in that building for since that time of the beginning of the museum, and we pay nothing to stay there. They pay all the utilities. So we're very appreciative of that, but as I said, some of the windows that have been boarded up have been there since the beginning. And so that's what we're looking to try to do. And then, of course, storage is always an issue, and we're wanting to tear out some of the buildings. The area that we housed the museum in was used for a living quarters for the employees of the city back in the 1930s. And so it's very old and has built-in sinks and has a little small bathroom, and so we would like to have that more conducive to a museum environment, and also to make sure that we can keep the water out when we have torrential rains, in our county. So we're looking to tear out an old bathroom, make that into a storage area. We have no running water in the area except for the commode, and we're wanting to put running water in the sink again so we have a place to wash our hands or visitors. And then also we're wanting to open up a back door that has been boarded up and that water comes in when we have large rains. And we're wanting to get the water diverted off of the top of the building so that it can be moved away from the building and not potentially come in that back door. And that back door, if we could have that as a regular door, that would give us two entrances to the museum, one for the front and one for the back. So that's kind of what we're here for, and I did bring a couple of pictures of the issues that concern us, and also brought one of the bulletins from Talco Trojans versus Mount Pleasant Tigers in 1947. And that's some of the things that we do have there. We have a lot of the county records when Talco became a incorporated city and was divided out. And so there's a lot of important records there that are housed that have been damaged from time to time when the water came in the windows. So, but anyway, we did play Mount Pleasant at one time in 1947, and I don't know who won that game, but I'm sure it was a good game. But I do have some pictures here of the areas of concern, if y'all would like to look at those at any time.
Well, Ms. Mears, since this is not an agenda item, perhaps at some point we can talk more about details. Now,
Right.
I have no clue how much money you're talking about.
Exactly.
But the way, if the commissioners were to consider something like this, a project like this, it wouldn't be a situation where the Commissioners Court could just write a check
Right.
to you.
Right. I
There's some
understand.
very stringent requirements that would have to be gone through as far as, bidding out the work and making sure it's done for the cheapest way. So this sounds like something that we could get into more details at a later time, and if the commissioners wanted to consider something like
Right.
this. But again, it's not as simple as just handing over a check. There would be a lot of paperwork to go along with it.
Correct.
But at least you've planted the seed in our minds about, I didn't even know that existed. Maybe these guys didn't either, but at least you've let us know about this. So
Right.
thank you very much.
That's my purpose for being here, is just to let you know what our needs are.
Yeah.
And that we do represent the entire county, not just Talco.
Yeah.
And so, and also I have talked to, because we will be doing this at some point. It probably will be in stages, because nothing
Good.
has been done since 1999.
Very good.
And so I have talked to a local contractor that has said that he would volunteer some of it. He went to school at Rivercrest, and he's now doing construction in the area. And I realize it's a process.
Okay.
So we're just here to begin the process, hopefully, in y'all's consideration.
Thank you for taking time and coming to our meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
All right.
Mears.
Thank you.
Anybody else wants to speak during this general time? All righty. Let's move on to item number 2, consider and possibly approve minutes from our September 26th meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve that set of minutes is made by Commissioner Fitch,
Second.
second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3, a presentation by Titus County 4-H regarding National 4-H Week. And we have with us Callie Zoeller and a bunch of her friends that have joined with us today here on the front row and second row. So Callie, come on up and tell us about what's going on with 4-H.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for allowing us to join us here today. We've got a lot of young faces with us here today that are excited to be here. Luann wanted to send her apologies today. She could not make it. She had to go to the Child Development Center this morning, so she's missing out here with us today, but she sends her apologies. So we just wanted to thank you guys for allowing us to come here today, but we wanted to take the opportunity to give some of these 4-H youth a chance to share some of their experiences and what they've been doing in the 4-H program here in Titus County. We have a group that's actively growing, and for those of you that don't know what 4-H is a youth development program that's across the United States and within each county here in Texas. And so it's a group for ages 8 to 18 and also for younger kids ages 5 to 7. So I just want to let these kids come up here today and share some of their experiences. This past week has been National 4-H Week, and these kids have been running around very, very busy with all of their different projects that they have been participating in. And so I'm going to ask Callie Gibson to come up, Trevor Gibson, Case Gunner, and Carly Rogers, and then Lorelei Spitzer is going to speak today a little bit about some of their 4-H projects that they have going on. So I'm going to turn it over to Callie Gibson.
Now, these first two have been with us before, haven't they?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and
Well,
we do have quite a few kids here with us today that this is their first commissioner's court. So this is a really neat opportunity.
Yeah, bend that down however low you need to.
Okay, it's gonna fall.
Or you can pull it off of that stand if you want. There you go.
That's good.
Okay. Hi, I'm Callie Gibson, and I'm the current president of Titus County 4-H. I participate in livestock judging, plant ID, and I show pigs. And next week we actually have a livestock judging contest on Monday at State Fair. And yeah, we had a lot of fun at the fair this year. I won senior showmanship in market and breeding. Super happy about that. But yeah, we had a great year this year.
Oh, good.
Good job. Good job. Congratulations to
I participate in rabbits and.
Great.
Did you win a belt buckle this year? Hey, good job, young man.
That's it. Yeah, okay. Hello, I'm Carly Rogers. I show sheep and lambs. I showed at the Titus County Fair. I showed 5 lambs and a pig. Oh, I said sheep. Okay. This next week, I will be going to State Fair to show my lambs.
We'll be around me.
Where'd you move from?
Little Elm in Denton County.
Oh, not that far. Okay.
Hello, my name is Titus Rogers, and I go to Chapel Hill. This year at the Titus County Fair, I showed 3 lambs and 1 pig, and I won, and I got reserve breeding with my gilt. And I like showing 4-H because it has helped me learn how to pick better animals and learn how to judge, and just I get to be a part of this really cool stuff.
Congratulations. Good job. Good job.
My name is Gunner Rogers. I'm a freshman at Chapel Hill. I showed pigs and lambs. I showed 2 pigs at this year's fair along with a lamb. I got reserve grand market. I also judge livestock through 4-H. Again, we also have a judging contest at Waco, Heart of Texas, along with on Monday we have a judging contest at State Fair, Texas.
Awesome. Good job.
How many Rogers were here?
There were 3 here today, yes.
Are they all 3 siblings?
Yes, they are. So that's the neat thing about 4-H is it really gives families an opportunity to spend a lot of quality time together, raising livestock projects or doing cooking projects. I mean, there's lots of family bonding time through 4-H, and they get to know each other, you know, across the county too. We've got kids represented from different school districts. We've got kids that are homeschooled, and so it really gives these kids an opportunity to meet other youth across the county and build relationships and get to know one another. So I think that's really neat as an extension agent, getting to see those kids develop friendships across the county and get to help each other at the Titus County Fair. I was really, really proud of these kids for all of their teamwork. They won numerous banners and ribbons and buckles and everything, but at the end of the day, they were helping each other move equipment in. They were encouraging others. They were building each other up, and just lots of teamwork shown. And that makes me, you know, so proud as an extension agent and their advisor that they have such great relationships with each other, and they care for each other and their community. So 4-H is a great program. There's lots of different projects offered. It's not just agriculture and livestock. It's public speaking. It's educational presentations. It's cooking. It's all sorts of things. This summer they got to go to a leadership camp that we held at our office, and we learned a lot about parliamentary procedure. And so this is a really neat opportunity for them to see parliamentary procedure in action and, you know, our county government at work. So, like I said, this was the first time for some kids to attend Commissioner's Court. And so we're really, really proud of these kids. We like to brag on them. We like to give them the opportunity to come and speak and share their experiences. So thank you guys for allowing us to come. I know I grew up in the 4-H program, and I had adult leaders and county agents and ag teachers that really spent a lot of time and effort into, you know, developing us as youth. And so it's a really neat opportunity to be able to give back. And a lot of the judges here at the Titus County Fair this year kept going on and on about how high caliber our kids in Titus County were, and they are 100% correct that we have the best youth here in Titus County. They're second to none, and their families are second to none as well. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Callie. We appreciate your leadership and for bringing all these folks. For those of you that spoke, thank you very much. I know that 4-H obviously helps you to get to doing public speaking, and it's very difficult to stand there and address a large group of people in a room. So each year you get better and better at it. All right. Well, you all are welcome to come back anytime that you want. Thank you for not bringing any animals today. We don't allow those. But
We do have some goodies for you guys before we leave today. I think some of these kiddos need to get back at school to take some tests and go to some classes today, but we've got some 4-H goodies for you guys before we leave. So thank you guys again for allowing us.
Thank you.
Callie, we appreciate what you do for them kids.
Awesome.
Thank y'all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Down there on the end.
Thank you.
Oh, I did too.
Thank you, Kelly.
All right. And anybody that's left, you're welcome to stay. You can stay for the whole meeting. You can feel free to get up and leave when you've had enough. Item number 4, report from commissioners regarding roadwork status. I'll start on my far end, Commissioner Parker.
We've been doing some scabbing down on 4755 and started our second round of mowing this time. Well, started this past week at it. One guy that got his arm hurt and all, not at work, at home, and he was off a couple of days. But we've had 2 tractors running. Part of the time when he was there, we had 3. But we've been doing some other patchwork and whatnot, and had some trees down that we had to pick up. So other than that, we're moving along.
We started our second round of mowing, and we got 2 tractors going, and we've Been grading County Road 3445 and 3290, put some white rock on it, and we're headed to 1905 and blade that road down there to the bottom. And we're just getting caught up with a bunch of trees, dead trees we have to get rid of.
All right, Mr. Fitch.
All right, Precinct 2, we had our share of the dead trees and leaning trees and such, so we've been doing a lot of tree cutting, cleaning up, and we're still going to do a few more next week. We've been paving on 2670, and we're on our second round of mowing, headed over into the Blodgett area, then over to Winfield, and we worked on 2715, cleaning some ditches, making it a little wider down through there. Everybody trimming trees and such, rubbing vehicles. Yeah.
Commissioner Parson.
Well, we finished up redoing County Road 1250 where it connects into 1896, and we've started our second round of mowing, replacing street signs, digging soft spots, and replacing a few culverts.
Thank you. Item number 5, discuss the Oak Lake Estates subdivision with possible action. And Tammy, I know you're here. If you want to come on up to the microphone. Tammy contacted me, gosh, it's been a couple of months, I guess, about a particular issue that they're dealing with, and it wasn't an answer I could give her. And before she spent a lot of time pursuing her objective, I wanted her to share with you what her situation is and be sure that you're okay with the idea that she has to take care of this. So I've even forgotten all the details on this one, Tammy. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
What was on the inside 44 years ago? The front of it has actually been developed back in 1978 or 79.
Tell us where this is for starters.
It's off of 1402 onto County Road 1720. It's Oak Lake Estates, or the first part of it is. The back part never got finished, and so my brother owns the property now, and we were trying to sell it in just a lot property.
When I look at this, what's the front that you're saying? Is that on the far,
front that you
the
can't
far
see.
right end?
Yeah, I do have the whole thing. If you want to look at it, have to be on.
But looking at this little page you've given us, the part to the left of the lake is not developed. None of that's developed. Any development is over here on the right end there.
And that is his property.
Okay.
That's part of it.
And that is that east? Is it north is up?
Yes.
So the east end, where's 1402? Over here? On the east side. Okay. All right, I've got my bearings. I remember that now.
Okay. So what we're trying to do is sell the back portion and not develop it, obviously. We want to sell it in one big lot. And we've added some property to the south that Mark also owns. I don't know if y'all need to see that.
Is the lake is still there?
Yes.
But is there a road there to the west of what you've marked in yellow, that cul-de-sac? Does any of that road even exist?
No, there's
Nothing to the west of that lake. Okay.
And what we would like to do is do away with the plat that's back there because it's not going to be developed.
You'd like to eliminate that subdivision.
Yes.
Where it's separated into individual lots.
That yellow highlight back, we just do away with it so we can sell that in one big piece of property. Also, I would like to keep the dedicated road. If you'll see the highlighted area on your small one, that road stops about halfway in the middle of, I think, the Bostic's property, the actual road that y'all maintain. And we would like to keep that dedicated back to that property line that you can see on there of what someone will buy, so that they have access, so it stays just a dedicated, road space.
Where does the actual road stop? Right here?
Yeah.
Here? So there is an existing road, and who maintains this? If this new person that bought this were to come to you and said, okay, I'm ready for you to seal coat my road back to my new entry gate, what are you going to say? This is precinct
landowners to build that road. That road has never been developed.
That's what I wanted to hear.
And if they developed it, I would take it as a yes. I would take it.
If they developed it to your specs.
That's right. Correct.
Okay.
So that's what we're asking for today.
And I think, based on our last conversation, I said before you go and spend any money with a replat, make sure in theory the commissioners were okay with this. And I knew that they wouldn't have any problem, decompressing that subdivision back into one lot. I wanted there to be some clarity on that road, because whoever buys that is certainly going to want to have access to it from the east side of Oak Lake to the west side of Oak Lake. And I didn't know how much road was there, and if a road is going to be built there, I wanted you to understand that that's going to be the responsibility of either you or whoever this is sold to get back there.
Yes.
Anybody have a question about this?
How many acres on the backside?
I think that 7 point something. I think I wrote it on there. I'm not sure. I think that once it's in, you take the road out and all, I think it's like a little over 7 acres in that platted area.
So these were half-acre lots, something like that?
Yes.
And do you have a potential buyer for this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are they here today?
No.
Okay. And do they understand that once this is eliminated, if they did want to go back and sell individual lots, they'd have to go through it as if it never existed?
Yes. I think their plan is just they want to live there.
Okay.
They just want to live on the property.
22, 23, yeah.
All right. Any other questions or comments for Tammy? My suggestion would be that you let Tammy leave today with the understanding that she can now begin the D-plat process, I'll call it, and get this all surveyed as one piece of property. And in my opinion, as long as there's an understanding about that road and who's going to be responsible for it and who has to build it and what specs they have to build it to, I wouldn't have any problem in removing this subdivision on the west side of Oak Lake.
It actually has all been surveyed and added some property to the south into it. So I do have a, exterior perimeter survey.
Okay, so it's going to take in that James trailer property there to the south.
It turns out to be 13.047 acres total.
Okay.
I make a motion to accept.
I'm not sure if today we can. I guess we could. Joyce, what will you need here? You'll need the new plat of how she's got it designed, which will take in more than what was originally included in Oak Lake Estates. And once that plat is recorded, what else might you need from her? Well, and you'll need more detail than what we've got here today. Yeah.
The one, that's got the little lock on it. I've also got the field notes for them.
Can she get with you later and find out exactly how many Mylars and all that stuff you need in order to accomplish that? Okay. All right. So I've got a motion from Commissioner Applewhite that we grant permission to eliminate the Oak Lake Estates remaining addition on the west side of Oak Lake.
Second that.
Second by Commissioner Fitch. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. And you can just get then with Joyce, find out exactly what she needs. But
Okay.
I think you're over the hump here, and the rest of it's just getting all that documented.
It's
Okay.
been a long road. Thank you,
All
gentlemen.
right. Thank you. Item number 7, consider and possibly approve payment of judge training conference that will occur in late January. In fact, January 30th through February 3rd. It's a week-long new judge training conference for our newly elected county judge, to include the conference fee, travel, lodging, and meals. It's time for our new judge to be able to sign up for that conference and go ahead and make the plans. And we need to make a decision and formally approve the county paying for those expenses, which is certainly appropriate. But it's better to get it approved now than wait until those expenses have been incurred. So if you're willing to pay for those expenses, and I think that you should, we need a motion and approval.
Make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Parker, second by Commissioner Fitch. All in favor, say aye. I skipped 6. I know that. I did it on purpose. Item number 6, consider and possibly approve the 2023 Titus County resolution regarding the Indigent Defense Grant Program. We do this every year. The Indigent Defense Program is just what it says. It enables the county to accept some grant monies that we in turn use to help offset costs to the county for providing legal representation in the form of appointed attorneys to defendants that cannot afford an attorney. And we do this on a regular basis. At the jail, a request is made by a defendant who is in jail. Typically, they make a request to have a court-appointed attorney, and that doesn't come free. Those attorneys do get paid, and in this case, the county pays those fees, typically at a lesser rate than they would otherwise charge. But the Indigent Defense Grant Program helps us to offset that, and anytime you're taking monies from the state or the federal government, there are some strings attached, basically that says if you don't do it right, you owe us that money back. So I would certainly recommend that you approve this resolution regarding the Indigent Defense Grant Program and allow us to participate in that program.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve is made by Commissioner Parchman.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fitch. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 8, consider and possibly approve an extension of the fire contract agreement with the City of Mount Pleasant. This is a temporary 30-day extension beyond our end of September date when our fire contract ran out with the city, and the city agreed to, and in fact has already voted to extend us another 30 days while we continue our negotiations with the city on some form of continuing relationship as it relates to fire protection. But this is a stopgap matter to ensure that we weren't left without any protection provided by the city of Mount Pleasant. This was approved at the city council meeting that they had this past Monday or Tuesday night. I'm not sure which. I did not go to that Monday night. And I don't even know if it, I think it goes without saying that we certainly didn't want to be left without protection. So I just wanted to formally acknowledge and thank them for this extension of 30 days through the end, or through October 30th, to allow us to continue to work on that contract.
Make a motion to accept it.
Motion to accept that extension of the fire contract agreement with the city of Mount Pleasant, made by Commissioner Parker.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
Do we need to make a payment in October?
We'll make some kind of normal payment.
Standard?
Yeah, the standard payment. Yeah, there's been no discussion about that being at a higher rate, and certainly you wouldn't assume that there would be a free month in there.
Okay.
But there's not been any discussion about, under a new rate, because we don't even have a contract that exists yet. So let's do that at the same rate.
Okay.
Item number 9 is approve our oral and written reports.
Make motion to approve the reports.
Motion comes from Commissioner Fitch.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parchman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 10 is approval of our treasurer's report.
Make that motion.
Motion is made by Commissioner Applewhite. Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 11 is consider and possibly approve budget amendments. We've got, what have I done? We have the first one of the new budget year 2023-1. You'll recall we spoke at the last meeting on the 26th about sheriff and his need for the continuation of a contract with a food service provider to feed prisoners. That resulted in a $31,972 required budget amendment in order to be able to participate with that company going forward. We knew that their costs were going up. We didn't know the amount at that time that we put together the budget, so it is in excess of what we had anticipated by $31,972. So this amendment is a request for new money in the form of a draw from our general county contingency, and it will go into the feeding of prisoners budget line item. So that is a draw on our contingency. That is the first one. These others relate to, I'm going to kind of go over each one of these. The first part, there is a, this is, I guess, a two-part, Barbara, and if I state this wrong, let me know. But we now know what our anticipated or what our actual revenue is going to be from the state, from the Savins grant, again, the statewide advance notice for victims, where we participate in this grant each year. We approved that. We know what that figure is, $6,582. So Part A of this amendment recognizes that known quantity of $6,582 revenue from the state, and then we kind of reverse the the placeholder that we did during the budget. We guessed $8,000. So we are removing that line item funded by the general county for the Savage grant because it was set before the notice of the grant award was received. So Barbara got pretty close at $8,000. The actual revenue ended up being $6,582. The next item has to do with our FM 1735 project and the right-of-way services that we have to pay for and the utility location services. So there are several components of this: legal fees, professional services, utility relocation costs, and acquisition costs of property. So this particular amendment adjusts the 2023 budget to reflect activity during the period from when the budget was prepared to the end of the fiscal year of 2022. And so now the 2023 budget was, when we put it together, we were, again, basing that on our best available information at the time. These budgeted amounts now kind of clean up and reconcile, and they are now equal to the cash balance on hand at the end of 9/30/23. Is that right? 23?
I'm sorry, 20.
Okay. So this again shores up those accounts, and again, legal fees of $13,000, professional services for the right-of-way acquisition $71,000. $15,000 in utility relocation, and that gets offset against the acquisition and utility costs, and it just allocates them into the proper categories that are part of that project. Again, we're still drawing those monies out of the available money that we have in that fund balance for the right-of-way for that particular project. So we have not exceeded that amount, and we don't expect to go over the amount that we have in reserves. Okay, here's continuing on with this item number 2, the second one of the year. We have, I guess this is a little bit of good news. We're adjusting the line items within the general county fund to the final annual requirements for our TAC insurance for medical and hospital insurance, based on the renewal that was approved at our last meeting back on September 26th. The original budgeted amount was $1,085 per employee, and the final amount per TAC was right at $969. So that puts some money back into our contingency account. Is that right?
That's right.
And that's always good. So $157,000 was the net impact on the difference of those anticipated premiums and what now the actual premiums are going to be. So that's good news. Next component of this item is related to the sheriff's office and these capital outlays. This adjusts the 2023 budget for items that were ordered during the previous fiscal year but not received by the end of September 30th. This is for a copy machine for the Sheriff Department, vehicles for the Sheriff Department, and body cameras. So again, that just shifts that into the new year when these items will actually be received and paid for. And then the last item just relates to, again, back on that health insurance. These are some line items to put monies back into other road materials instead of hospital insurance premium. That's right. So the same reason that I just spoke to you about the lower health insurance premiums being put back into contingency, here we're going to put those amounts that were budgeted within each of the 4 precincts, and the amount is the same, $6,960. We're putting back into other road materials and reducing that hospital insurance budget. I think that's the end of it. Anything you want me to run by you again? If not, I'll ask that you approve that budget amendment.
The backhoe, is it paid for now? My backhoe, do I need another payment on it, or you know?
I have to look that up to be sure.
Okay.
Okay, I'll look and get back.
Thank you. Make a motion we approve.
Motion to approve these 2 budget amendments made by Commissioner Parchman.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Item number 12 is sign pay orders and approve payment of our current bills.
Make a motion we pay our bills.
Thank you, Commissioner Parker.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fitch. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Closing comments by County Judge and Commissioners. I'll start on my right. Commissioner Parchman.
Anybody else know something? Anybody know anything?
No. No, I just had those 2
Okay.
that were signed up for, Tammy Homer and the Talco subject. Was there anybody else that wanted to speak? Okay. All right, Commissioner Parchman.
No problem.
Commissioner Fitch? Commissioner? Okay. Well, thanks everyone for coming. Have a good county holiday if that applies to you. And for those of you that came today, thanks for your participation. You're welcome back anytime.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
All right, motion to adjourn. I guess we ought to do that. Second, all in favor say aye.